Boeing 747 has been a feature of the British Airways fleet for over 50 years. However, a month ago it was revealed that early retirement of the type is under consideration, potentially ending half a century of history. Across the aviation industry, the Boeing 747 is seen as an icon. While maybe not quite as iconic as Concorde, the Queen of the Skies has an instantly recognizable shape that almost everybody knows. However, as twin jets lead the way with higher efficiency and lower emissions, the Boeing 747 is sadly becoming a dying breed. The story of British Airways 747s starts back in 1970 before BOAC merged with BEA to form the airline that we now know. In April 1970, BOAC took delivery of its first Boeing 747-100. The aircraft was just the 23rd to be built by Boeing, according to its line number. Over the next 3 years, BOAC took delivery of a further 14 aircraft. Unfortunately, none of these aircraft remained flying and must have been scrapped, with a few having been stored. British Airways' first Boeing 747 left the fleet in October 1998. The 15 Boeing 747s that BOAC had taken delivery of were transferred to British Airways in early 1974, following BOAC's merger with BEA. In November 1974, the British Airways that we know today took delivery of its first 747. The airline would go on to take delivery of 4 747-100s, giving it a total fleet size of 19. Only one of British Airways' Boeing 747-100s was involved in a hull loss during its time with the airline. In February 1991, Golf Alpha Whiskey November Delta was blown up in Kuwait during the Gulf War. On June 22, 1977, British Airways took delivery of its first Boeing 747-200. The airline operated a total of 24 passenger Boeing 747-200s. Then in September 1980, the airline took delivery of a cargo Boeing 747-200, but transferred it to Cathay Pacific a year and a half later. The Boeing 747-400 is the British Airways 747 that most people know today. Indeed, it's the only type still in service with the carrier. The airline's first Dash 400 was delivered in June 1989. Golf Bravo November Lima Alpha flew with the airline for almost 30 years until 2018 when it was scrapped in Victorville, California. British Airways operated a total of 57 Boeing 747-400 aircraft. This means that, in total, the airline has operated 100 passenger 747s and 1 cargo 747. Deliveries of the Dash 400s took place for 10 years until April 1999, making the airline's youngest aircraft just 21 years old. 3 of the Dash 400 fleet received retro liveries in celebration of the airline's anniversary last year. One was the Dash 100's BOAC livery, another the airline's Negus livery. Finally, one wears the Landor livery in which it was initially delivered in 1993. Only one of the airline's Dash 400 aircraft has been written off while in the care of the airline. In December 2013, an error during taxiing saw the wing of Golf Bravo November Lima Lima slice through the second floor of an airport building in Johannesburg. The right wing was severely damaged and, as such, the aircraft was written off, damaged beyond repair. The Boeing 747 has been a part of British Airways for half of its 100-year history. However, this chapter of the book is set to close shortly as the airline's entire 747 fleet has been earmarked for retirement by 2024. While most of the airline's Concorde fleet can now be found at museums across the world, most of the airline's 747s will likely be scrapped. Hopefully, at least one of BA's Queens of the Skies will be saved to become a museum piece like Concorde. What's your favourite memory of the British Airways Boeing 747? Share it with us in the comments below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the Simple Flying channel and be sure to click the notification bell.